Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Laura Canfield Show. Thank you so much for being here with us today. And I'm so excited because Paul and Holly Marwood are here with us today, and we're going to be talking about solution energy and creating solution energy. We're going to be talking about universal spheres. We're going to be doing, or Holly's going to be doing, a channeling. So Ishtara is probably already present, but will be more fully present later. And so
exactly.
yeah. And so I'm excited because this is going to be a really fun conversation. We're talking about how to create unlimited solutions, right? And especially in the energy we're in right now. It's like we were just talking about this, some people are having some blockages, some stuff is not working the way it should, and how we can use that solution energy to get things moving in the direction that we want, number one, right? And so we're going to talk to Holly and Paul in just a second, but for those of you who don't know them, I'll just tell you a little bit about them. Holly is an advanced certified Akashic record teacher and reader. She is a conscious channel for Ishtara, the High Council of Orion, the Archangelic Realm, and many more. And Holly facilitates guidance sessions, workshops, and seminars both locally and internationally. And Paul is a certified advanced Akashic records reader. It's so hard to say. It's like a mouthful. International speaker and trainer in spirituality, energy medicine, healing, and transformational soul and life guidance. And Paul and Holly are the co-founders of 3 multidimensional transformational processes to help you move to greater alignment with your inner guidance and assist you to fulfill your life purpose and desires with expanded consciousness and ease. They're also co-founders of something that is so easy and unlimited, it will blow your socks off, which we're going to talk about today. And it's called the Universal Spheres, which they wish to, talk about. And Paul is actually going to demonstrate as well. So welcome, Paul and Holly.
Thank you. Thanks for having us, Laura. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's an absolute pleasure.
I'm so glad because, last time Paul was on with us, I think back in June or July of last year, right? And Holly, yes. you were away doing some training, right? Giving a workshop or something. And yeah. we had so much fun, with Paul, but it's always more fun to have Holly and Ishtara as well. So yay.
It's hard to beat that duo.
Right? So today it's like we're lucky that we have all 3 of you here with us to talk about the universal spheres, whatever channeling message Ishtara has for us. And as well, we're going to experience the universal sphere from you, Paul, right?
Yes, correct.
So and I've experienced it before from Paul. I've also done the training myself, and it really is. It's quite wonderful, and you have to experience it. So I'm always grateful when we get a chance to share it again, experience it again, because it really is so easy and so wonderful and such a beautiful energy. And I love that it's a solution energy, right? And so, right, yes. and for me, that's because I'm a action-oriented person, and so I like to keep going and keep moving. And so when things are not, I like what can work here, right? And so we'll talk about that in a minute. Because there's so much that we can talk about when it comes to the universal sphere. But let's start off, first of all, with, let's talk about create unlimited solutions and what does that really mean? And because, we all would like to have solutions for our life. But it's not just for solutions, because that implies that there's problems, but it's more than that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, first of all, this is such a big topic, and one that both Paul and I are extremely passionate about talking about, because the truth is we all have issues, we all have concerns, and one of the sort of problems is we always are thinking they're going to stop. Like, if I fix this one next thing, then everything is going to be perfect and lined up. And it's great to be that optimistic. And what I'm about to say isn't meant to be pessimistic, but it's this reminder that we're in a dimension of polarity.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And when we're in a dimension of polarity, which we chose to come into this dimension and have all the wonderful experiences that this dimension can provide for us that others don't, which is like extreme acceleration and growth, we have to understand that with polarity means this craving that we have for it to stop, the challenges, all right? We don't want the good stuff to stop, but the problematic times for us, or the patterns that are stuck and that we think we're never going to get out of, those things are going to happen in a polarity dimension because we're here to grow and accelerate our life and our awareness through it. Now, the key, though, is this isn't, you just haven't been doomed to a life of suffering. The key is that in this dimension, we have polarity, so we can just stop expecting it to be perfect and just rest in this energy of, oh, right, good things are going to happen and challenging things are going to happen. They're going to come up, and when they come up, they're there for me to grow through. But also beyond that, this little slice of 3D sits within the unified field. And the unified field is where all these polarity experiences fall away. In the unified field, what Ishtara talks a lot about is solution energy, like we talked about before. And what she says is there's always a solution to everything, even if we don't have it accessible or in our consciousness and our awareness yet. So this idea that in the unified field that contains everything, there is a solution. And then you say, well, if it's out there, how do I bring it into my everyday existence so that my only point of view isn't just this polarity experience? I can have a bigger point of view in terms of my possibilities and my options and my opportunities, so I can find my way through them. And that's what we really talk a lot about, is that there is always a solution to everything. And it's not always what we're in conclusion about. Like, oh, the solution to my relationship problem is that guy at the desk across from me at work. He just needs to know he's my person, and then we're all going to be fine, right?
Right.
Like, I'm clear on it, but he doesn't seem to be.
Yeah.
Or, that this next job is going to give me that sense of purpose, and I'm not going to have the office drama that I've had at other places. I mean, we could go on and on around all that, right? So the idea is, what's beyond our conclusions? What's beyond the energy that we already know? Because we know what we know, and we already have those options available. But to create the big change that we talk about, that we really desire, we can access that potential outside of 3D, bring it into our 3D experience, and not wait till we leave. So one of the things I loved about what you said in the beginning, Alara, is this idea of action. We're here to be in action, not just to be passive and, oh, somebody come in and change me and then I'm going to be all fine. We're here to bring in these solutions into our lives so we can be in action and have a more expanded, satisfying 3D experience while we're here. Instead of thinking, oh, I just can't wait to get to 5D, let's do it while we're here. And we can still bring in 5D and 6D and other D energies into this space where we're having our incarnational experience.
Yeah, totally makes sense. I mean, just what you said right now, but about waiting to get to 5D. I mean, is that really a thought, that people are waiting to get to 5D? Right.
Yeah.
I'm
3D, I want to be in 5D.
Yeah, sure. We all want to be, but it's not going to happen just by us wanting something, right?
Correct.
It does. Like, we are also responsible for that. We have a part to play in that.
Right.
Right. So,
but also part of what I'm saying here also is, it's like the 5D or the whatever D is like the new promised land.
Right.
Like, when I get there, everything's going to be okay. But the reality is, if we bring in more dimensional energy and vibration into wherever we are, whatever D we are, because we're all still swimming in that same dimensional field anyway.
Right. Yeah.
So, right? Because we're not exclusive here in 3D. All the other Ds are right here with us. We just don't know how to interact with them. So we have potential to interact with them and bring in different experiences of life that way.
And that's an interesting piece too, because, many people are looking outside. We've been trained to get answers from other people, other experts, etc. Look externally, when this time, this ascension time, is a time of remembering, a time of a journey going within. And all of the D's, as Holly's just said, are all right here. So, so many of us are trying to find something external. The High Council of Orion have often said to us, and also others in the channelings, that you have everything you need right here and now. It's all right here. We're not missing anything, so it's really this time of remembering. We're just simply at this level remembering this incredible multidimensional being, the soul, which is simply embodied in a 3D body, but being able to be here in this 3D level, but also remember that we are everything else, and then start to connect to that as part of that remembering. And so then we still live in 3D, but we still live in a physical form, but we then operate in other aspects while still in physical form. So, I'm so excited about that.
And, I love that, because it's so true. It's like our body is here in the physical 3D, but our spirit or the greater aspect of ourselves, only a small part of that is here. The rest of it is, everywhere, right? And knowing that, and tapping into that, and being able to use some of that beingness of us, to have more ease and find more solutions for our life now, here in this 3D, right? Kind of.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it makes our life so much easier. I mean, can I just give a really sort of super quick, it's a really basic example. It's not a really super fancy way out there example, but we can use non-physical to help us in our physical. Just the other night, our cat went missing. Holly and I were worried or concerned about the cat hadn't come home, and it's not his normal behavior. I talk regularly with the cats, and I just tuned in. The one cat, he went outside. I said, show me where Raja is, which is our other cat. And he couldn't be bothered. He was just more interested in getting back into the warm. And so I tuned into Raja, and Raja showed me exactly where he was. So I said to Holly, well, as far as I understand, he's up in our neighbor's garage, and I just took a torch and went up there, and literally within minutes had found him. He was under the house, squeaking away, cold and upset, wanting to get out. And so I just spoke to our neighbor, and we opened up the place, and he came home. So what could have been a much bigger drama in the physical world of, oh no, the cat's gone, let's call the police, and
coyotes,
everything else.
Mountain lions.
It was a simple solution. And so that's not really going sort of 5, 6, 7, 8, 9D. That's just pretty much staying in localized dimensional aspect, but it's how we can tap into more of what's around us to help us now, which is where we're coming to with being able to tap into solutions which are outside of our 3D mind. Says, okay, this is a problem, this is the solution. And as we start to release the Piscean age of the divine masculine, where the man says, this is the problem, this is the solution, you have to do this. This is the limitation. That model is now over. It kind of failed. It created a separation from source. It made us become more engrossed in our mind, in our ego, and less connected to everything else. So as we move to the Aquarian and start to connect with the greatness of what is available with the divine feminine rising, and us being able to reach more and be more open, bring it on, I say, because that's where we're starting to tap into many other solutions, which we'll share later on. And
a solution is always at a higher vibration than where the problem resides, right? So if we're trying to find a solution to a problem, it's not going to be where we're at. It's going to be somewhere else, right?
Well, I don't know if I would class it as a higher vibration, but generally, and I can't remember the name, but many people, a certain gentleman has said that you can't solve a problem with the same thinking, that same level of consciousness that created the problem. So yes, I agree. We need to open up to a higher level of consciousness to then allow the solutions to come in. Yeah, I completely agree with you.
And so with the universal sphere, I was just going to say, with the universal sphere, it is a more expanded consciousness, right?
Yeah.
Well, we're tapping into the unified field and all the dimensional consciousness and awareness there, and immersing our energy field, or if we're doing a universal sphere for somebody else, in that infinite field of possibilities, so that we're vibrating in a bigger field of energetic possibility, so that suddenly new things open up, new awarenesses can come in, dots connect differently than they had before. The solution energy is a fun thing and an interesting thing to really start digging into, because solutions can come in and we say, oh, it's very linear, and then solutions can also come in like out of left field, where we go, wow, I didn't even know that was possible, and now I have this awareness, and this is what I've been waiting for. I want to, can I give you a fun example that literally I connected to the dots this morning?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
And I love when I see how solution energy works in my life. So I'll really abbreviate the story. Paul and I do Kundalini yoga, and recently I was thinking, why do I need to think I need to go join a gym or do anything like that? I was going to take up swimming, which I used to be a competitive swimmer when I was younger. And then I thought, it just takes too much time to get to the gym, and then I'm all wet and my hair, all that girl stuff. So so then I thought, wait, Kundalini yoga, Yogi Bhajan, who brought that through, he used to be in the military, and he really trained people hard who were his direct, the people he taught directly. I thought there have to be something in his teachings where I can increase my strength and my flexibility and my fitness level, my overall tone, using Kundalini yoga. It was only a thought. And at that time, I thought, well, there's a solution to that. I just don't know what it is at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So then just recently, there's a Kundalini yoga teacher I follow. And guess what she did? She had just created a video that she put out since the beginning of the year about literally getting in tone and shape with Kundalini yoga. And as I was doing it this morning, I thought, I didn't even have to go research in any books or look in any video libraries. I had this thought, and here it is right now. And I went, wow, that was solution energy. I love that. It's so exciting, because there it is. It just showed up. And I had no idea. And actually, she hadn't even released it yet.
Wow.
Can I give you another super quick practical example of how solution energy can change our environment and give us a much better experience? We recently went to Mammoth. It's near a mountain, big mountain range, etc. And Holly's dad has a condo there, and so we went there with Holly's son and his fiance. And I was doing spheres beforehand to have the best experience for the highest and best, which is how we do the universal sphere, for the highest and best. We can't really focus it as such on I want this. And basically how it unfolded is we got there. We got there in perfect weather, so it was easy to get there. The environment was end of summer, so it was really dry and brown and all the rest of it. The next evening it snowed 2 feet, so you wake up the next morning with beautiful snow, so you can see the brown, you get to see the snow. We had a heavy sort of snowstorm that next day, so it forced us to be inside, so therefore we had time to connect with each other. And then the following day the weather was absolutely beautiful, so we get to go out and then got to explore and walk around and everything else. And then the weather cleared up beautifully, so we could drive home easily. So we literally got an experience of Mother Nature providing everything, the full plethora of options and choices, all in those 3 or 4 days, all right then and there. And so this is where we can really start to improve our experience of our reality.
And all of the experiences were to your benefit, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And as our consciousness rises, we get to enjoy all of the benefits instead of sort of saying, I want this and complain about that. As our consciousness rises, we see the perfection in everything.
I love that. And you saw the perfection in each of the experiences. So when you had the snowstorm, it's like, okay, awesome, no problem. It's beautiful, because a snowstorm is beautiful to look at. And then you had time to connect, because if there wasn't a snowstorm, you probably would have been busy doing other things, right? And not had that quality time to connect. And but you being able to see that and appreciating that and acknowledging that, right? That raises the vibration of the whole experience, instead of, oh my God, why is it snowing? Why is there a snowstorm? Like, this is not what we planned, and this is, going off on a tangent, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, beautiful. And now, we've talked, here and there about the universal sphere, but it's not like, what is it, number one? And it's not just for solution energy. It's not just to figure out problems or figure out answers to problems. You want to talk about what it actually is? If we can talk about what it actually is, I'm sure it's always expanding too.
The universal sphere, actually, just by way of a little bit of history, first came through when first came through in December of 2011. So it's 8 years old, and it's still in its younger years, and yet we've had people connect with it all over the world. And this idea of solution energy, as we talk about, is a significant energy signature with it. But really what it's doing is it's a very simple energy experience, if you will, that's allowing us to connect with all that we talk about, the unified field, to up-level literally every single aspect of our life. So typically what we focus on as humans is solving our problems, which is kind of why we've been focused on that, because that's what we do a lot, is like, let me heal this, let me resolve that, let me unburden myself with these things. But what it can also do, and by bringing in this unified field and by bringing in the vibrations from the entire dimensional spectrum, it just gives us more choice, more opportunity. So we can do, when we do universal spheres, things can be working really well. There can be no problem there. And you can just up-level yourself, the experience. Paul and I do universal spheres for ourselves every day. Not because there's a problem. We're not always trying to put a Band-Aid on it or repair that.
Makes good feel better.
Yeah, it does, exactly. It makes good feel better. So it's just allowing us to move into our day and vibrate whatever comes our way at the highest level. And it really has an opportunity, a word I really love is it gives us buoyancy as we're navigating 3D. Because we are going to have polarity experiences, but being able to navigate it and feel successful and empowered and clear and trusting is really important. I know the sense of personal empowerment and also trust in the universe, where I am, the part that I'm playing in it, all of that has massively up-leveled in terms of using the universal sphere, because you get this foundational sense of rightness about who you are as you interact with these energies. So we're not quite fighting with ourselves as much, thinking we need to be somebody else or we need to do a different thing. And you come into this field of, actually, I'm in the right place at the right time with the right people doing the right things, and let's do it. Let's get out there and have more of that. The other thing with the universal sphere that we do a lot is we do a lot of work, I will say, and just for lack of a better word, with others, not just in terms of sessions, but the situations we talk about a lot are one of the biggest things we do universal spheres for. Situation means we've got a lot of moving parts.
Right. Yes.
Meaning, we have a classic story that we tell of somebody who had a really troublesome work environment. And that's a very common thing. You've got a lot of people and a lot of free will in a work environment. And so things come up which allow things to work really well, and sometimes there are challenges in it. And this particular person worked in a really challenging work environment, and they really didn't know what to do, and they felt kind of helpless and hated going to work every day, which is really unfortunate when you've got to go to work every day. So they began doing universal spheres on the work environment, themselves, and just solution energy, not saying, oh, that person's the bad person, they need to be, I'm going to use these universal spheres to get them fired. We're not manipulating, we're giving a bigger energetic space for the highest and best for everyone. And in a very short period of time, it may have been a month, just the whole culture of the department she was in shifted.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And so, and that isn't because there's any manipulation. That isn't us needing to conclude, oh, that person or that policy or my desk is in the wrong place or they talk too loud, whatever it is, none of that, it doesn't require us to know what the solution is. We bring in this bigger field that everyone gets to operate within. So it's really giving everyone that bigger space to find a new vibrational stance in. And they had a completely shifted work experience by working in the solution energy available through the universal sphere.
Beautiful.
And I think the important piece to also note is that, remember, in our three-dimensional world, part of this construct is we still live in a free will zone, and ultimately our soul has final choice. So we're not, for example, this lady with her workspace, she's not manipulating anything. She's not forcing anything to happen. What she's doing is, and this is where the universal sphere is I believe, sets it enormously apart from what we've traditionally had and used. This is a gift from the future, literally, to help us move forward into this new higher level of consciousness. She simply, the universal sphere, because it's multidimensional, can operate at multiple levels within, say, her work environment, which is essentially raising the vibration of everything, the building, the people, the situations, what's manifested, the relationships, everything is all interacted in this greater unified field, and it's all there. And so, just as we said earlier, you have to raise yourself to a higher level of thinking to solve. You can't solve the problem with the same level of thinking. So, so in doing spheres, she's simply raising the vibration of her workplace, which then simply changes the experience of everyone. So everyone's still able to operate in their free will. We're not manipulating anyone's free will, but it changes the whole environment. It changes the whole experience of everything. And so everyone changes, And again, if someone's soul doesn't want that, because that other people at work, even if they don't know that the sphere is happening, their soul's well aware that it is, because it's aware of what's happening with the change in the vibration. And so therefore, they're saying yes to that. And so therefore, there's an expansion of everyone and work, etc. What's happening within the workplace. So everyone and everything benefits.
And it seems like it happens with more ease and grace. So that there's not a lot of turmoil or turbulence involved in the changes, right?
Right.
But I will say the interesting piece with that is that when we do universal spheres, Holly and I and everyone else, the practitioners, we have no idea how it's going to unfold. Because remember, we're working with something that's outside and beyond multidimensional, beyond our 3D mind anyway. So I apologize for everyone. When I say mind, I'm generally referring to our 3D mind, because our mind is really much more than that. Quite often you get solutions that we really never thought of, because this is where we're starting to, as we said in the title, accessing and creating infinite solutions. So we're now operating beyond what our 3D mind sees as a solution. So we get some really cool results, but we still can't mess or manipulate what the soul's experience is, what the soul's potential is, what the soul's journey is. So, and that's where it isn't necessarily all, puppies and roses and loveliness, because sometimes, we start to get clear on something and we make a shift. And as part of that shift, there may be some uncomfortableness, because that's part of the soul's journey. The universal sphere is going to, literally, when we go through our lows, which we tend to as part of our 3D experience, highs and lows, good and bad, happy and sad, the lows are less and they're shorter, because the universal sphere with that higher level of consciousness allows us to move through it, with more clarity, because we know why we're experiencing this or have a deeper understanding. And we move through that much more quickly and come out the other side and see the benefit in why we had that challenge. Because in our human form, we still tend to need a level of challenge to push us when our back's up against the wall, is when we start to take on new resources. What do I need to do to solve this? How do I change within myself to move to the next better version of me? So sometimes we get challenges to help us move to that next level. But the sphere helps us through that, and we get there quicker.
Awesome. Thank you. And that's so true. I know that, sometimes even my own challenges, they look pretty dire, but the blessing that I received from going through the experience was like something I would not give up or change for $1 million, you know? So it's like, okay, yeah, it's true. Sometimes the challenges are necessary for us because we have that belief, you know, to get us to the next level or whatever, you know? So Holly, where did the universal sphere come from, or how did it come about?
So it came about, as I started to say, in December of 2011, and I had been actively channeling the High Council of Orion for pretty much all of 2011. And a group of us were together, and we had already been having a channeled session with the High Council of Orion that evening. And there was a sense in the group that there was a new energy there. And I started channeling this very big, strong, powerful woman who didn't know who she was, but initially, so it took a while to kind of land on her name, because it's coming from Egypt. The words are different, but anyway, her name is Ishtara, and the way I pronounce it, it's Ishtara. But the way she says it is Ishtara, almost like the R becomes a little bit of a D sound. Right. So that evening she said, I'm here to teach you something new. And what was interesting is the group of us assembled in the room. There were 4 or 5 of us there that evening. 4 of us, meaning me, who was channeling, and Paul and 2 other ladies. We collectively had many decades of experience with healing modalities, and we were a little bit skeptical when she first said, I'm here to teach you something new. And
it's the ego.
And I know everything.
Yeah.
So she did. And I was channeling, and as I was channeling, Paul and the other ladies there were following along and doing what she did. And then whenever we channeled, there was always a massage table in the room, because this is when we were bringing in the 111 activation also. And so we always had a massage table in the room. So then Paul and the other 2 ladies took turns on the massage table and practiced it. And we sort of thought, okay, this is interesting. This, you know, the texture of this, the way this feels different, but we don't really know. And since then, it has evolved, and Ishtara has continued to keep teaching us all kinds of information, not just about the universal sphere, but it's really about who we are in this world, in this ascension process. And she really deconstructs things to make them very easy and not like way out there, lofty, esoteric. She's very practical. So she brings in this information that's really about a new life philosophy also. So we have different levels of, you know, we have people who have learned to do the universal sphere. And we also have some other levels of people who work with the universal sphere. It's really about transforming their lives. Every month there's a new teaching. Every month there's new things to do with the universal sphere to expand our awareness of really navigating our life in a unified field while we're still here in 3D. So when this began in December of 2011, it came in, as I mentioned before, at the same time we had been learning the 111 activation, so we really thought it went together with it initially. And it didn't take long, maybe a month or so, we realized, wait a minute, this is amazing. They don't need to go together. And so then we really started looking at it as its own little being. And so we have, as I mentioned before, since then, in the last 8 years, we've taught, we have many instructors in different parts of the world. We've taught people around the world how to do this and really start living a life that can be more enjoyable. And again, even when polarity comes in, it gives us an opportunity to have a little bit of perspective about polarity instead of like, although, you know, I definitely feel that way. I mean, I still get frustrated. I still have stuff come in, but I end up knowing that I have a way to work my way through it, get to a new perspective, it helps me feel less victimized by life, honestly, because it's easy to feel victimized by life, especially about the things that we have patterns on and that may have been going on for a long time, or maybe it's a family pattern. It's easy to feel victimized, and working with the universal sphere allows me to pop out of that more quickly. I still go there. I certainly am not impermeable to 3D, but like I said before, like a little cork in the water, what happens with it is if it's in the ocean, it still may get turned about, but it's always going to end up at the top, right? So the universal sphere gives us this buoyancy to navigate life so that we have that higher level perspective and move through all of it a lot more gracefully.
And I think also is that if we take an example, like if we want to get fit, we've got the gym that we can use as a tool to help us get fit, for example, and strong. Okay, so we're in a time of ascension, and most people wish that we could just suddenly wake up tomorrow and we're at 5D and beyond. And well, that is a potential, but I think realistically, it's a process. So those are the potentials we understand. It's a process. So we've been given tools now from the higher realms, like going to the gym to get strong. So this is going to the conscious gym to expand our consciousness to help us get there much more quickly, much more easily, with much more ease and grace. And it's so easy. Traditionally we would learn a more traditional energy healing modality. We might spend months and years mastering it. This is something we can learn in a day. It takes us 7 to 15 minutes to do it. And we can use it on anything. It's not just healing. So we now realize this is more powerful and used for situations. Multiple people, multiple moving things, multiple influences. The universal sphere is incredible at that. So it's almost unlimited in what we can use it for, to shift our consciousness, but also our experience of life and what's happening in the interactions. So it's a powerful tool that we can now use to move ourselves forward in this time of ascension. So, and as more of us consciously, because I would imagine everyone that's listening on the call here today is someone on their spiritual journey. We're all interested in raising our consciousness. So here's something given to us on a golden platter to say, here's something that will raise your consciousness. It's easy. You don't have to, we've spent so many millennia of whipping ourselves, saying you're going to have to whip yourself a lot more just so you can just become worthy to actually achieve this. That's not true. In a divine way, you already are worthy. By simply just existing, you're worthy because you're a piece of divine. So you don't have to struggle or work at all of this. Here's something that's really easy for you to do and change the paradigm of the old 3D and move to 3D and beyond, which is what I'm so excited about.
Awesome. Thank you. So now I know we're going to do, or you're going to take us through or do a universal sphere at some point today. But I just want to ask if anybody had any questions so far for Holly and for Paul coming up. So I forgot to say this at the beginning, but if you do, you can raise your hand, you can type in the chat, or you can unmute yourself and, go ahead, whether it's about the universal sphere or just, something in general.
Andrea, who's one of the people on the call today, is one of the instructors as well. She's also an instructor of the universal sphere.
Awesome, Andrea. I didn't know that. And so I know that Ishtara, or Holly, you're going to be channeling Ishtara today as well.
Yeah, let's do that. I think before we do the example, the group universal sphere, let's do a channeling with Ishtara if it works with your plan, Alara, and then we can open up to questions with Ishtara, and then I guess towards the end, before we share with everyone that our offer, we could I could do a group universal sphere to help everyone connect to solution energy for themselves.
Awesome. So Renetta, did you Because, you know, she was like, I don't want to leave, but I have to go for a few minutes, but I don't want to miss the healing.
Well, this is an interesting piece about this, Renetta, and everyone else who's listening for this and also on the replay. We're so used to 3D in linear form. We think there's a lesser in not being involved in the healing here now today. Because the universal sphere is multidimensional, everything is in the now when you start to operate multidimensionally. So, Renetta, if you need to go and you come back and you listen to the replay, what you receive and what happens in the replay is equally as powerful as what's happening here in the now. So our old linear method is, oh no, I'm going to miss it. It's going to be less. The replay is going to be half as good, or, you know, 10th as good. It's not. Believe me, it's just as equally powerful that what's going to happen to you and what you experience and what you feel in the moment. Because when you think about it, if we start to work in the now, when Holly channels the High Council of Orion or Ishtara, not only do they read the audience and know what the questions are of the audience and know what the audience wants right here and now, they also read through time what the people are that are going to be listening to the replays, because it all happens in the now for them. So then the message that they deliver is not only suited to everyone who's listening to it live, but also everyone on the replay as well. So this is this piece about working in multidimensionality, where it all happens in the now. We're not limited by time anymore. See, that's where 3D is linear time. It's one of our limitations. 4D is flexible time. 5D is not limited by time. And as we go beyond, time is just a piece, but it's not limitations.
Yeah. Awesome.
So enjoy it on the replay. If you can't stay with us, Renita, have fun.
So Holly, are you going to do the channeling first?
Sure.
Okay. Awesome. So Renita, I think she's
whatever timing works out, I can do.
I was just going to see. So I don't see anybody having their hands raised, right? Nope. And just sometimes I miss the chat things for some reason. I don't know why that is, but let me just double check. So Andrea was saying, I've absolutely had the experience of listening to a replay and having it be very moving, big and powerful. It's amazing. Oh, me too. Absolutely. There's no difference at all. I was shocked the first time that I experienced that. It's like, wow. Yeah. So I see that Holly is getting into her mode.
Just while Holly's doing this, Holly's what we would call a conscious channel. She's not a trance channel. So she doesn't leave her body. She's still mostly present, but part of her just shifts aside a little bit so that the beings can come through and speak. So there's still part of Holly there. So she's not a true trance channel as such, where that soul effectively leaves the body and the consciousness, the other consciousness comes in. So, right.
Greetings, great beings of light. My name is Ishtara.
Greetings. Oh, I love your energy. Just feeling it again. It's like, yeah.
Thank you. And with permission from all of you, if you choose to bestow it, there will be an energetic impulse or flow through you during this transmission. If at any time you feel like, no, I don't think it's a good thing, or you are not feeling aligned with it, then you just say no and it recedes, because your free will is more powerful than anything else right now. So, but with that being said, for those of you who are willing and open and receiving, during the transmission, you may feel the energy in your field, in your physical and all of your light body fields. And there's no manipulation done. It's always bringing in this same field that's been discussed already. It's this up-leveled field of possibility for you. And so let's talk for a moment today about possibility. And about this idea that's already been brought up today about the field of infinite possibilities. Your mind, meaning the mind that helps you so successfully and beautifully navigate your life in 3D, doesn't even really know what to do with the idea of the field of infinite possibilities. It might have a tendency to doubt or question. And the reason is because when you look at the 3D mind and you look at the beauty of what it is in relation to the dimension you find yourself in, you realize that it is fabulous for retrieving data, storing it, and reminding you of the data that it has stored to keep you in line, keep you safe. It does all kinds of things. But what it's done is it's collected 3D data. So in one sense, when you even use the vibrational term of field of infinite possibilities, it's as if the little robot says, this does not compute. So when your brain gets a little doubtful, your mind gets a little doubtful about it, you just say, it's okay, honey. I'm just playing with something. Thanks for the warning. Thanks for the heads up. Because your 3D mind is always working on behalf of your 3D experience. Now, when we're dealing with the field of infinite possibilities, please understand that first and foremost, the way you end up with new opportunities and new possibilities and new solutions coming in is because it moves into your vibrational space first. So the idea of having more possibility show up in your 3D life means that you yourself, all the situations, everything in your life is vibrating in a higher field where there's more available vibrationally before it becomes solidified in a 3D reality. Now that sounds all big and all esoteric and all magical, but this is literally how it happens. So one does not need to see with the eyes and know with the mind what the possibilities are to vibrate in the field of infinite possibilities. And that bothers the human mind a little bit. Well, if I'm in this field of infinite possibilities, this means I have more choice, but tell me what my choices are. But when you're in a field of infinite possibilities, there are more choices than your mind can even imagine. And this is what you want, right? You already know what you know. You already know that if what you knew was going to be your solution, you wouldn't have a conundrum anymore. Correct? So you want something that you don't know anything about. You want an idea, a solution, a remedy that is outside of the field of what your known options are right now. So, of course, one can bring in the full dimensional field that's already been discussed today by working with the universal sphere. Absolutely. And yet, because Ishtara is very practical, let's talk about a way that you can break into this field of infinite possibilities before you learn the universal sphere. Here's the way it works. Questions without answers. Now that again can disturb your little mind a little bit. So the idea is, think of something right now that is problematic, that you haven't been able to crack the nut on, you haven't really found a solution for yet. And you may have tried a lot of different things. You may have done things very quote unquote traditionally. You may have done things quote unquote alternatively. But no matter what, there's something in your field that you wish you could finally have the solution to, and you haven't discovered it yet. So one way to just open your vibratory field into a larger field is with a question that doesn't require an answer. So once again, bring to mind this thing that's been a big curiosity to you. You just don't know how to solve the problem of. And then ask yourself this: I wonder what solution is available that I'm not aware of yet. And allow yourself to sit in that field. I wonder how I'm going to be surprised by a solution. I wonder what else is available to me that, again, I haven't connected with yet. Yet, by the way, as an aside, is an incredibly powerful word. It's almost a throwaway word, isn't it? Those little tiny 3-letter words. But when you put yet at the end of anything, you open yourself up to more possibility. And you're not in conclusion. If you were saying, I can't do this math problem, I haven't figured it out, it's wrong, there's a conclusion in there, right? It's wrong. There's very much a finite energy. It's kind of heavy. And if you say, oh, I haven't figured out how to find the solution to this math problem yet, that means, number one, there's hope. Number two, you know there's an answer. And number three, you've just energetically opened your field up to more. So that's the little yet aside. Yet is an incredibly powerful, teeny tiny little word that you could use a lot more in your life to actually start creating change in it, because you want to keep your field open and out of conclusion and decision and this feeling of being stuck as much as possible. And most of the time you feel like the way you need to get unstuck is to have an answer. And we're going to tell you, let's flip this around. And the way you get unstuck is actually having a question. I wonder how I can get unstuck even though I don't know how to be unstuck right now. Can you feel that that opens you up to possibility? I wonder how I can get unstuck even though I don't know how to be unstuck yet. We're not holding ourselves with cement shoes in place with the conclusion that I'm just stuck. We're opening ourselves up with questions. So use questions all day, every day with yourself. And questions mean you are open to more possibility than what you know right now. So you always want to be in a field of bigger choice without needing to know, without the requirement of the answer right in front of you right now. Now, why this bothers your human mind a little bit is because in this dimension from your earliest age, and you've had multiple incarnations that have reinforced this, every question requires an answer. So in a sense, the circuit isn't complete unless every question has an answer. But every question having an answer is a 3D construct. And when you want to get out of 3D, even while you're still in 3D, when you want a bigger experience, just hang out in the question and allow the answer, allow the solution to come in without the demand or the requirement that that 3D circuit be satisfied. That's what you did in school, right? 3 times 3. What is 3 times 3? Well, that doesn't hang out there in the unknown when you're in school. You are required to give the answer. Whether it's right or wrong, that circuit isn't satisfied till the answer's there. So your human experience says, oh my gosh, I'm uncomfortable. I'm in a question. Questions are really uncomfortable because I'm required to give an answer. That's old programming. And the way you want to move into a new field of energy is just hang out in questions. I wonder how I can get to work on time even though it appears I might be late. I wonder how I can get to work on time no matter what amount of time I have. So be in the question. If I'm really in support of my body today, I wonder what I want to eat. So really invite a lot of questions in and just feel how it opens up your awareness, opens up your possibility, opens up your willingness to see new things that you haven't ever seen before in your life. And this is how you can begin to play in the field of infinite possibilities right now. And then you can expand that even more as you work in the unified field with the universal sphere. But you don't have to wait. You can play with questions now, in this moment, in any given moment that you find yourself in. You could even be angry because something's happening at work that you don't like, and you could say, I wonder how I could be in the same situation and not be angry. Do you see how you just opened yourself up to a new possibility? It's powerful. Ask yourself a lot of questions and let them hang in the unknown and watch the magic unfold from that.
Does anyone have any questions that they'd like to ask Ishtara?
I was going to say, that's awesome. Number one, that was like so brilliant. I love the yet, and I love asking the questions. And so, you know, I always have a hard time figuring out what question to ask.
So ask the question about what's obvious. So can we ask you a question?
Sure.
So the question would be, what's something, anything that you'd like to say, I don't even know a question I have? What would you like to have as a solution right now, or an idea of more possibility in your field than you're aware of right now? What's one thing? It can be yours personally, or something that you know is top of mind for many people.
Clarity with the purpose.
Clarity with your purpose. So one could demand clarity and feel insufficient. I don't feel clear.
Mm-hmm.
One could ask the question of, I wonder how I will feel when I am very clear on my purpose. That's one question. There's another question is, I wonder what I'm already clear about that could help guide me on my purpose. Even the question of, I wonder what my purpose is that I'm not clear on yet.
Mm-hmm. Those are all great questions. Yeah, they're brilliant.
So you're really asking about what you already know.
Yeah, that you're just not maybe aware of.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So it's still very empowering.
Very empowering, because what you're really doing is getting on your side instead of not judging yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Because using the example of clarity of purpose, which is a lot of top of mind concerns for many people, is what am I here to do and who am I here to be?
Mm-hmm.
And when one feels like that's elusive to them, then there's this judgment of what's wrong with me.
Yeah.
Why don't I know? If this is mine to do, why is it unclear? Who's holding it back? Do I have karma that's keeping me from it? All kinds of things. But when you begin asking questions such as, I wonder what it's going to feel like when I feel so on purpose that the clarity is crystal clear. Wow. You're on your side and there's hope.
Yeah.
And you're not in the energetic constriction of feeling bad. You're in the energetic field of possibilities. Possibilities, and that field that you can access through questions is a very outwardly moving, expanding energy field, which is why you feel good. But it's also that outwardly moving, expanding energy field is how new possibilities have a chance to sneak in. For if one is contracting with the energy of not feeling good enough or not feeling right about their life, what one is doing is kind of caving in. It's almost like you've encased yourself in a brick wall, and it's protective, and there are all kinds of things that we could talk about that. But the reality is those new energies, those new possibilities have a hard time finding their way in. So you can open up your field and say, wow, what's possible here that I'm not seeing yet?
Mm-hmm.
Whew, it's open. And for those of you who are very concerned about your ascension process and very mindful of it and very intentional of it, what's the directional flow of those energies? They're outward, they're expansive, they're not caved in on themselves. So by definition, the ascension process is expanding. So you're really supporting your expansion in the moment, even with your expansion and your ascension by creating the questions that create the opening, that allow you to feel the possibility. And you are very much in line with the ascension process because you're replicating the vibrational, directional flow of them.
Awesome, thank you. And there's another question. I think it's for Ishtara. Is one responsible for other people's feelings? A lot of medical karma effects. Is one responsible for others?
Well, ultimately, the soul is responsible for each individual incarnational experience. Now, the question that goes with that is, there is an interplay in humanity, correct? Mm-hmm. There are couples that have made connections with each other, and there's a sense of commitment. But if you use Holly and Paul as an example, they're individual souls on their individual journey, on their individual awakening process. So is Holly ultimately responsible for Paul's journey? No. And is Paul ultimately responsible for Holly's journey and awakening? No. Yet there is an interplay between the energies that are also helping each other awaken. Correct? Mm-hmm. So there's that aspect to it, but is one ultimately responsible for somebody else's feelings? This very simple answer for that is no. But understand that the feelings are going to always be mirroring back and forth to each other. And so it's easy to be blaming one another for that interplay of emotions. And the reality is that everyone has a choice in the moment about how they feel, even regardless of what the circumstances. And this goes into a much bigger lesson around this, because we are here to do it together, and yet we're also here to trust the journey, the soul level choice for each person to be who they are. And the center point of this is you trusting yourself in your journey, that you're doing exactly the right thing in this moment, in this time, the best way you can, and you are awakening and unfolding and discovering in exactly the right way based on the soul's choice of your incarnation. And when you begin really holding that dear to your heart, and really that sense of love and honor and trusting that experience for yourself, you can automatically say, wow, they're having an experience. And there's a place where you can support, but you're not responsible because they're there journeying, and it's not your job to take away from their journey, that their souls got it handled for exactly the right experience they're intended to have. And as you trust that in yourself, you can begin to slowly but surely trust each person's experience, regardless of what your opinion is about it.
Cool, thank you.
I hope that answers the question.
Yes, I think so. So do you, yes, they say yes, it did answer the question. So can you tell us a little bit about, we talked earlier, I guess, about 2018 was such a challenging year for a lot of people, and 2019 seems to be a bit more, not challenging in the same way, I don't think, but it's a different energy. So can you talk a little bit about what we, light workers, wayshores, what we can expect in 2019, and how we can ride the wave with a little bit more ease than we possibly did in 2018? I laugh because it was a really difficult year for me. So,
and there's especially in the body, the energetic body of light workers on the planet, 2018 was an unsettled year, and that there's just a period at the end of that. 2018 was an unsettled year because energies were shifting. And what's so fascinating about that is it's what you've all been desiring. Correct?
Yes.
And when the change comes in, it's like, whoa, this is big. This is unsettling. So one of the first things one could say about 2019 for everyone, but we'll speak specifically to those who are consciously and intentionally working on their ascending consciousness. And that's not putting anyone else down, but there's some people who are having a different 3D experience, and they're not required to be navigating in these energetic realms the way the light workers are. No judgment. It's just a soul level reality. So we get to leave them alone in their soul level experience. But for those who are waking up, those who are wanting to challenge the status quo and make a difference in the fabric of the collective consciousness and the collective experience on the planet, here is a profound key. And it's way too simple. Get in line with yourself and be on your side. Now that sounds overly simple. And you go, come on, Ishtara, it's got to be a lot more complex. It's got to be a lot more cosmic than that. But here's what is profoundly being asked in 2019 of those who are willing to do this work. When you look back in history, the fabric of humanity's consciousness on many different levels was held in place through fear and judgment. And this is not even judging that time, because remember, as souls, there were always choices to go into that field. The only reason why it doesn't feel good anymore is you're awakening and realizing there's another way. But in that time, that seemed like the best idea for a pathway to change. But what comes with the fear and what comes with the judgment, and this is whether it came from a religious system or a political system or a caste system or a gender-based system, it doesn't matter what system it came from. The reality is that in this space of judgment, in this space of harshness, became a very strong vibration of unworthiness and the requirement to suffer to receive anything worthwhile. So when it's said right now to get on your side is to really begin getting on your side and stop using judgment as a pathway to create change. And that is first and foremost against yourself. Because, and most of this judgment against yourself is subconscious. You're not even aware you're doing it. What you're aware of is small relative to the larger voice of the subconscious judgment against yourself. And you say, well, if I can't even hear it, what I'm going to do about it? You start becoming aware of what you're aware of in your conscious mind, and it allows some of what's in your subconscious to bubble up, and you can begin to move it through. But this is a big teaching, and this is a big energy. But what if every single day you were more on your side than against yourself? So this is what it looks like. darn it, I'm late for work every day. What is wrong with me? That's judgment against yourself. I never plan my time correctly. And whose voice is that hearing in your head? Is it your mother's? Is it your father's? Is it your older brother or sister who is always having to drag you out the door and, you know, while you're still pulling your socks on in the morning? Regardless of what it is, get on your side and say, you know what, you did your best. You did the best you could in getting out of the house today. Maybe tomorrow will be distant, but good for you. You are out of the house.
Yeah.
As you sit down to a meal that you choose and you eat all of it, and then you move to a place of saying, oh, why did I eat all that? Wow, you can get on your side by saying, isn't it wonderful that you chose to eat that meal? Because what you're doing is shifting the vibration from the negative, judgmental, oppressive, not worthy energy that is the energy that's transforming. And the transformation is going to happen, but you can accelerate it by literally being on your side, giving yourself kudos, even cutting yourself slack by saying, you know what, honey, you're doing the best you could. Next time you can do it differently. And even that, can you feel that if you say you're doing the best you could, next time you can do it differently, can you even feel that energy as expansive?
Mm-hmm.
You're giving yourself the opportunity to make a different choice instead of reinforcing the thing that you've done over and over again that you've decided you're unworthy around. So a profound uplift to really give yourself strength and fortitude in this year is to be on your side unconditionally. And unconditionally means without condition. I'm only going to be on my side if I only ate salads today. I'm only going to be on my side if I saved money today. I'm only going to be on my side if I smiled at everyone today. I'm only going to be on my side if I never got frustrated with my children today. That's all conditional.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're always in a waiting game and you're never in your moment. But if you consider this just for a second, in every given moment that you are alive and that you exist, in that moment, aren't you doing the best you could?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean that next time maybe you could do it differently, or you'd like to do it differently, or you'd like to not react that way, or you'd like to make a different decision. But in that moment, you're going to get on your side by honoring the fact that in this moment, you're absolutely doing the best you can. And when you start cutting yourself that slack and you start releasing the requirement to judge, remember, historically, you were judged as a fear-inducing way to create change. But you were creating change through a field of fear, not of personal choice and honoring who you are. So as a way to work in this ascended energy field is get on your side. And that's the biggest suggestion that could be placed for 2019. Because when you're on your side, it gives you the ability to rise up above some of the challenges, you know, the ebbs and flows and the ups and downs that are going to happen. They're going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But if you can also notice them instead of, oh, this is so hard, but, oh, this is an effect. This is an energy of transformation in a highly transformational field. There's this beautiful eclipse coming up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And people can say, oh, it feels so terrible. What if that energy is there for you to shift your beingness in those energies and say, this is a powerful vortex of transformation. Maybe I need to drink a little more water. Maybe I need to put my feet in the ground. Maybe I need to just relax a little bit more instead of pushing through. What's available? Here's the question. What's available for me on my behalf in these eclipse energies?
Yeah, beautiful. Wow, thank you. That was quite...
There's one more thing that needs to be said, because Ishtara always has one more thing to say. When you get on your side and you start to feel that you're acting always on your own behalf, you start to see how the things that are happening in your life that you feel are outside of your control, you get to witness them and see them how they are actually showing up on your behalf as well. Because you have a strong vibrational field of being in on your behalf yourself, you can invite that energy and the awareness in automatically through the law of attraction of everything being there on your behalf, whether it's super comfortable, whether it's a little uncomfortable. Your foundational belief is this is here on my behalf.
Yep. Awesome. Thank you. Just one more quick question about this, going through these changing times. How do we find this inner peace and confidence to know who we truly are through these changing times?
Can you read the question again, please?
Sure. How do we find this inner peace and confidence to know who we truly are through these changing times?
Okay, we're going to do a little more of a history lesson and then come back to this present. Again, remembering the collective consciousness holds the belief systems from humanity that's already been on the planet. So it's a very powerful force. And so historically, it's been very beneficial for humanity to feel like the discovery of what is truly them is unattainable by them. Because in those times where there was a greater sense of external control, where they know better, I must listen to and follow them, there was also a perpetration put in the field that you are not worthy to be able to know what your inner truth is. Well, the reality is that's an absolute falsity that we're waking up to right now. So part of it is, and this is going into the question again, is really questioning, I wonder what's inside of me that I already know. And if it's talking about inner confidence, for example, where am I confident in ways that I can't even see at this moment? Where does confidence, where does trust in me exist right now? So you can begin opening up to it with the question, because the question assumes it's there to be discovered. And it is, but you open up to the question as a gentle way to say, I know you're there. So does that make sense so far? And then you take it to the next level by literally, and this is the inner game, the inner talk of, I know inner confidence is here for me. And I'm going to choose to trust that confidence and inner knowingness is already in my field. And it's literally like an affirmation. And allow yourself to feel it in your body before you have the evidence in your world for it. Now, this is a big conversation that we could talk for a few hours about, but begin always with a question. If something feels elusive to you, ask, this is your birthright, to be confident, to be embodied, to understand you're always on your purpose. You can never be off of it. This is your birthright, and you're awakening that all this knowledge is already there. So what you're wanting to do is, with the questions and with the affirmation, is you're trusting that it's there. And by definition, that begins to already open you up to discover more of it.
Beautiful. Thank you. Awesome. So much wisdom, my goodness, so much to it's like, I would think for myself, I need to go back and listen to this again, because there's just so many truths and so much wisdom here for all of us. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Ishtara.
I am with you now and always. My name is Ishtara.
Thank you. That was wonderful. Thank you so much. That was awesome. Wow. And it wasn't just the wisdom and the teachings and the words, but it was also the energy as well. You can feel the energy was different during the time when Ishtara was speaking. Yeah. That was awesome. So I know we're going to...
Yeah, that's the transmission part was talking about in the beginning. The energetic field that she creates for people who feel comfortable inviting it in. Yeah. She's not pushy at all. She's strong, but she's not going to push you.
Yeah. No, but it was beautiful. I could perceive the energy really strongly, and not just because I've experienced Ishtara before, but you can feel it. There was a difference, and it's like, wow. And the truth of what she was saying, a lot of times I was nodding for sure and smiling, saying yep. It's like, oh, that's yeah. I should ask that question without judgment. It was like, yeah, that's a great question to ask. It was brilliant. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I know we're going to do, Paul's going to do the Universal Sphere. But before that, I want to just take a few moments and talk about the special offer, or if you guys can talk about the special offer. So for those of you who are on the live page, you can just click on special offer. And those of you who are not, you can go to alara.at/show/Ishtara, ISHTARA. And we have 3 special offers available for you today. Package A, B, and C. So Paul, do you want to talk about it?
Most definitely, love to. Okay, so essentially the offer A, really we're kind of starting with just having it so that firstly, as you heard today, there's a whole lot of wisdom in the information that Ishtara can share with us, help us almost like a wise person, a wise elder being, etc., to guide us with where we're at. So there's some wonderful information. So we've put together a whole lot of channelings to basically help answer many of your questions, but also help you through this process. So there's a whole lot of channelings. There's a plethora of information beyond the subject that we talked about today. So offer 1, we're really offering these channelings to help you. There's also a 30-minute session with myself, so we can do literally a custom Universal Sphere session with you. As you kind of alluded right at the very beginning, Alara, the interesting piece about the Universal Sphere is literally it sounds too good to be true. That we've had so many promises in our 3D world and people that promise and don't deliver. So the truth of the Universal Sphere is you really have to experience it, because at face value, it really does sound too good to be true. All of the things we're talking about, and we're only just touching on some of the things it can do and what it's, can do for us. So the Universal Sphere session as part of offer 1 allows you to start to experience that yourself. So, myself and whoever you are, we get to spend some time together, answer your questions, and then do a Universal Sphere so you can experience it. Of course, we're going to do a group 1 today as well, so you also get to experience it.
Can I just add to that?
Please do.
Can you bring up that other page that I know you guys aren't seeing, but there was the Word document you just had up.
Sure.
So there are 5 channeled teachings from Ishtara, and one of them super powerful. It's on manifestation. And, that's like a big deal for all of us these days. Like, how are we manifesting a new experience of life? And another one is on how to really create a pathway for change. Again, we want to change our manifestation. We just don't always know how to do it. So she's teaching us about that. And then there's another one where she's really helping us remember that we're a universal being, not just a human being. So these are the teachings, and you had a sense of this with Ishtara, but she's really, yes, they're MP3s, but she's teaching groups of people on and sharing messages on really the same level that you've just heard, but on these focused topics. Each one is really powerful messages that honestly we even listen to over and over again.
Yeah, I have a playlist on my phone, keep listening to them every time I'm driving or cycling or whatever I'm doing.
Yeah.
The other thing too to remember, same thing as we talked about with the replay, there's energy contained within each of these channeled messages, just like today. So even though you're listening to a replay and an MP3, the higher realms have been very clear to us to say that the energy is still transferred through this. Because so remember, even though you're listening to a replay, you're still receiving the information, not only just the words, but the information that's coming through in the channeling, even though it's a recording. So encourage that with people.
Mm-hmm.
The other piece, the second offer that we're wanting to offer is like, for people that want to take it to the next level. So you get to experience, the first one was really learning, but the next one is actually wanting to learn to do the universal sphere yourself. This is where Holly and I, our main driving force here is to empower you, empower everybody. We spent so much of the millennia of our lifetimes being told less than, and being told that literally, we've got to seek advice and information externally. So we want to teach you to do the universal sphere, which you can learn online in a day. We teach it live. It's not all recordings. It's all live, but it's online, so you can be anywhere in the world. So offer 2 is essentially learning to do the universal sphere. Previous modalities would take months and years for all the different levels. Here, in one day, you are qualified as a practitioner to use it in multiple ways for yourselves. And Alara, you've experienced that yourself too.
Mm-hmm.
I want to just add something too. And in this Universal Sphere workshop, like Paul's saying, just one day, you've learned everything you need to know, and then just go do it. And you can use it whether you're a layperson, you just want to up-level your life and your experience. You may have family issues or work concerns, or you just want to be as vibrant as you can be on that multidimensional level while you're still here. That's awesome. We also certify people to be practitioners of the universal sphere. So even at the end of that one day, nothing more you need to do. If you have an energy practice or you're wanting to start one, you want to add to this, the universal sphere is something you can easily add to your practice after this class. So we have a lot of people around the world using it in their energy practice, and it actually blends really well with a lot of other energy modalities too. It's not something that needs to be segregated out. It just really blends in well, which you can imagine. No matter what we're doing, it's all part of the unified field. So if we're expanding our capacity, expanding our access, whatever we're doing, whatever kind of other energy work or massage work or whatever it might be, it up levels the situation and the people involved. So I just wanted to add that in with the Universal Sphere workshop. Super powerful. But there's another piece that's really great about that offer too.
Yeah, so just what Holly said, if you're a Reiki healer or a shaman or shawoman, you can use this with that as a practice as well as offer sessions for your clients. So that's a whole piece there. And then to add, we also have what we call a Universal Sphere Quick Start. So it's an online teachings that we have. So anyone that purchases the package now, we teach these classes literally online about every month, approximately. So maybe you can catch our next one, which is on February the 3rd, or maybe that doesn't work for you, so then maybe March the 3rd. But if you can't make the February one and you've got March, you can use the Quick Start program in the meantime to start to get in connection with and use the Universal Sphere. So you don't have to wait till March to learn it. Most of us live in this instantaneous world. We want something now, give it to me so I can start playing with it.
Well, I wouldn't want to wait.
Me neither.
So that's part of offer 2. And then literally offer 3 is essentially the combination of 1 and 2, or A and B, but it's even further discounted. So, offer 3 is essentially all of the channelings and the Universal Sphere session and the Quick Start program and learning how to do the Universal Sphere. So this is how, if we talk about wanting to get fit and we don't go to the gym, you're not going to get fit. You've got to. So we're still in this place of doing. So this is why we want to encourage people to learn how to do the Universal Sphere, because this is how you make the change within yourself. This is empowering yourself. And there's one other piece I want to offer. When people become practitioners with us, Holly and I have a slightly different philosophy. We teach you, and then most people attend a course and then you're on your own, sort yourself out. Once you become a practitioner, you complete this class, you get access to the practitioner area on our website and our Facebook page. And there are years and years, 7 years of channeled material, channeled teachings, guiding universal spheres, videos. All of this is completely free, completely available to you at no charge as part of our ongoing support with us. Every 3 months, we do another online live call, again, no charge. So this is part of this ongoing support, because we see people that become practitioners or universal sphere practitioners as part of a bigger family. And so we want to all continue on in this journey. So there's thousands of dollars worth of information in that area, which we just literally give you for free afterwards for your ongoing development.
Awesome.
Yeah, we feel part of the future is us staying connected, not just come, take a little nibble of this and go off and do your own thing. We want to stay connected. And I don't know about some of you, but I before doing what we're doing now, I've learned other energy things. And you go to the seminar and you're super excited, and then it's like, well, what do I do with this? Like I need more guidance. I need more support. I would need more inspiration. And it's often not there. Mm-hmm. And so we really wanted to create that continuity over time. And also we want the continuity because honestly, what we know now is not what we knew in 2011. Yep. It is so much bigger, so much more powerful, so much more in depth than we ever thought. And so if we stay connected to you, then you have the opportunity to grow with the universal sphere, just like the people who've learned it. The first time we taught it was in 2012, right afterwards, within a couple months of us learning it. And the people who started then, what the universal sphere is now, it's just like so much bigger, and they've been able to journey all the way through that. So Ishtara keeps talking to us about how it's going to keep going. It's not over yet. So it's she's going to keep teaching more, and you get to keep learning along with us.
And Lara, you're a practitioner, you have access to this area. What are your thoughts and feedback, just as an independent person, not speaking, as us?
Yeah, and, I find that with the universal spheres, they're so easy to do. The actual sphere is really easy to do. And then if you allow yourself to be open to infinite possibilities, right? And without trying to control how it's supposed to look or feel or be, I find it's like, it gives you so much more ease, it gives you so much more ease, and it gives you like the feeling of like, I keep getting the word freedom, so the freedom to get out of your head, number one. So I know for myself that there are like so many different ways and possibilities of using the universal sphere. And it gets better and better each time, because like you said, the more you do the universal sphere for yourself or for your clients, it's like you start to get attuned as well more to the unified field. And and it's like the connection seems to be better, and stronger and clearer. It's am I right?
Yep. The first thing I do pretty much every day is I do universal spheres to start my day every day, but pretty much the first thing I do might be put some wood on the fire or something first. But, it's so incredible being in that space and connecting to the unified field and the space that I'm now in with the universal sphere. And everyone that's on this call and everyone that listens to this call, you're no different to me. You can access this very quickly. Literally weeks and months, people are able to get to this incredible place and this connectedness where we're there with the unified field. We're starting to really experience that. You feel so incredible. Literally, I don't want to stop doing my spheres and get on with my day. But I'm clear that I'm here to do stuff in 3D, so I do. But it's just a beautiful feeling. You're spot on.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you. So I know, like,
I just have to point out, Renetta got back.
Yes.
Yeah.
She did her thing and she got back.
and just kind of to let everyone else know, the sort of discounts we're giving, because a lot of this is not, some of it is a digital download, but a lot of this is actual Paul and Holly, us interaction, so the pricing here literally is, for all of the 3 offers, close to 60% discount off our regular price. So, that's kind of really where we're trying to help people here move to that next level. We're all about empowering you.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Definitely. Because we want to know we can do it for ourselves, not always need somebody else.
Absolutely.
And when we do things that we learn and can apply for ourselves and shift our lives, like we've had people talk about even getting their kids down to bed more easily with the universal sphere, and bullying situations at school. I mean, this is incredible when you can do it yourself and you don't always have to go to somebody else.
Yeah.
And you know, Paul and I still use other people. We still go see other people for things, but we also feel very empowered that we have things that we can do ourselves in the moment to shift what's in the moment. And we feel like for us, that's just our personal philosophy, that we want this to be in the hands of everyone on the planet.
Awesome. And I'm all about empowerment, you know, so it's like, yes, if we can give people tools that they can help themselves to, you know, to create the life that they desire with more ease and with grace and connected to spirit. Yes, absolutely. I'm all about that.
Great. So are we.
So again, that special offer is, or 3 offers are available at alara.at/show/Ishtara. So please do take a look at them, see which one resonates with you. The live workshops are on February 3rd and March 3rd. So
yes.
Yeah, and if those dates don't work out, we offer them regularly, so we'll honor it if, you know, whenever anyone's schedule can work with ours. We are going to Japan in April, so we're not offering it in April, but we do it close to every month, not every single month, but close to it.
Awesome, thank you. So now, Paul, since Renetta is back, we can now do the universal sphere.
I love it. Okay.
It just worked out that way, Renetta.
So what I want to encourage everyone to do is, firstly, think about a particular sort of challenge that you need some solution energy to come into your life to help you at this point in time. Okay, so I'm going to talk about a few other things before we start the group experience, but just to give you the heads up, give you a moment. So just think about something that you would like some help with in your life right now. Okay. And then the next piece, while you're thinking about that, is now tune in with your body. Tune in with your emotions. How are you feeling physically? How are you feeling mentally? How are you feeling emotionally right now? So check in with yourself now, because then literally in 5 to 7 minutes, we're going to be doing the universal sphere, and then I'm going to get you to check in with yourself again and see how different you feel. This is a wonderful test, because this will change you very quickly. And so people are amazed at how I'm not going to say too much because I don't want to put any words in your space, but other than people feel very calm, very centered, very clear, very relaxed in that moment. So as we're immersed in what Ishtara calls the perfect universal resonance, it's the perfection of all that is in all of the dimensions, everything we know, and more importantly, everything we don't know. So that moves us to this place of clarity, alignment. It's real clear and literally very calm, peaceful, and clear within ourselves. Okay, so just check in how you feel now. Now, most of you have something I'm sure that you need some help with. So now what I want you to do is hold the space of you receiving something, but as Holly and we've shared earlier today, remember the mind's going to say, this is the problem, this is the solution. Instead, be in that place of openness of the solution being there in whatever form. Most likely it'll come in a form that you certainly didn't anticipate. So, but it's in this openness and opening up to solutions coming from you and coming to you. So just this openness is now opening you up. So the universal sphere is going to help us all move to a higher level of consciousness so that we can be at a higher level of consciousness to solve the problem that's beyond the consciousness that the problem existed or the situation or the challenge existed. And then you just need to be open as the coming days, weeks. Most people will see and observe the shift very quickly in the coming days or weeks, or sometimes instantaneous. So just be in that space now. Don't see it there's a solution in the future, because the universe will take you literally and hold it in the future. See it like you're already there, or feel it like you're already there. Okay? So, and just be open. This is the highest and best scenario here. So as long as you hold it, openness with the highest and best, then you're not manipulating anything in the situation. So hopefully everyone has something they need some help with, but remember, be in this place of openness. So now what we're going to do is just get yourself to just ideally lay down or just be seated and just relaxed and close your eyes and just simply be in this place of openness. Now, I'm going to be doing the universal sphere, and I'm going to be creating it. Remember, because it's multidimensional, we can all be not only in the now, everyone that's here in this call, but also anyone that listens to the replay. All you need to do is simply be in the place of receiving, okay? So you're not doing the universal sphere. You're simply just being immersed in this universal sphere energies and the perfection of all that is, and it's raising our consciousness. So just be in this beautiful place of receiving, be in this place of openness, and for that challenge or that thing that you need some solutions or solution energy for, just see the end results or be in this openness in the highest and best for solutions to come through. And just take a deep breath in, and as you breathe in, draw some beautiful bright light into yourself. Because remember, you are primarily this beautiful light being. And then as you breathe out, just again, any busyness of the mind, questions of the mind, because there's been many questions today, just let that all go out and let it just literally wash away, get smaller and smaller. And take another deep breath in and bring more beautiful, bright light into yourself. Allow it to nourish your physical and light bodies. And just as you breathe out, allow yourself to move to the place of feeling. As Ishtara says, the universal sphere exists beyond the 3D mind. We're in a place of feeling now. So just be in this openness, just be in this place of feeling. From the feeling, the connection to your heart, your pineal pituitary and beyond, is now allowing a greater connection through your higher level of consciousness to come to you. And just be in this place of receiving as I start to do the universal sphere. Many of you have probably already felt and noticed the shift already. Now there's going to be a few moments while I'm just doing the universal sphere that I'll be quiet, and I'll just, connection's not lost, but I'm simply just popping from time to time just to give you some more feedback. But just be in this place of receiving. And from this place of you, allow the energy of you, allow the consciousness of you, allow the light of you to expand even more. As Holly and Ishtara was talking about earlier today, we're talking about the unified field, the field of infinite possibilities, solution energy. So as you allow yourself to expand more, you allow yourself to connect to this greater aspect of yourself and the unified field of infinite possibilities and solution energy. So allow yourself to expand way beyond your physical body and just feel into this new place. You may notice and feel that from this expanded aspect of yourself now, this feeling of where you feels wonderful. It feels familiar. For many of you, it may actually feel like home, as we are all immersed in the perfect universal resonance. And allow yourself to expand even more. Allow yourself to feel beyond the physical. Go beyond 3D. And now from this place, you may even feel literally that there is nothing to worry about. There's nothing to be concerned about. As you are starting to tap into that higher aspect of yourself. Notice how this feels familiar. This is you. Now from this place, be in the connection and the realization that there is solutions to anything and everything. Allow and feel this solutions to come forward for the highest and the best for you and or whatever the situation is. Allow it to be in this openness. Remember, there is no manipulation here. We are coming from this divine place, this openness for the highest and best. Feel the ease in this space. And expand yourself even more. And feel the ease. Now from this wonderful expanded space, just take a gentle deep breath in and breathe out. And as you breathe out, bring yourself that aspect of your consciousness that's chosen here to be embodied in a physical body. Allow that aspect to come down to you and step 100% into your physical body. Allow yourself to completely be embodied within your physical body. Take another deep breath in. And as you breathe out, you may wiggle your fingers and toes and very gently and slowly open your eyes and welcome back. And now I encourage each of you, check in with yourself. How do you feel physically, mentally, emotionally right now? Do you feel more clearer, more centered, more relaxed? Do you feel this beautiful connectedness to your highest aspect of yourself? So I'd love for anyone to share how you're feeling now. Does this feel good?
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you can tell from me, I'm like glowing even more than before, not just the lighting, but
Yeah.
So Linda said that was so peaceful and hard to come back. Andrea says feeling very expanded. Yes, feels very good, light and clear and energized. Very relaxed. Karen says more calm and balanced.
Yeah.
And that was so like short too, right? It was not very long that we were in that space.
Yeah. I mean, thank you, Linda, Andrea, and Karen for sharing. And I'd love for anyone else to keep sharing. This is the power of what we're talking about here. This is something that can change us. We can learn to do very quickly and very easily. We teach you in the day how to use it for multiple things, not just, use it for healing, use it for situations, use it for others, use it for your business, use it for your work, use it for your home, use it for your pets. There's a multitude of ways that you can use it for. You can use it so quickly. If you're having a bad day at work, you can just go into the restroom and do a quick universal sphere and it changes your whole day. This is what is so cool about it. And that's why I say you have to experience it because it does sound too good to be true. It really sounds that way, but the only way you can prove it, and by all means, test it. Ishtara jokes that we're always testing. We do a sphere for something. We're testing to see if it'll make a difference, and it almost always does. And she says if you don't perceive it, it's usually because something's happening beyond the realms that we're observing at that point in time. So, but notice how quickly we've shifted. Notice how you feel connected to your higher self.
Yeah, so much more relaxed and so much more present at the same time.
Yeah.
You know, like, and like more of me. I love it. Yeah.
This is us being more of us.
And then there's less tightness in my solar plexus.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for your comments. And that's just so instantaneous that we get to come back to that sense of who we are in that balance, which is, it's really our home energy. That's why it feels good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I don't know, was it even 5 minutes? It didn't feel very, like, it didn't take us very long to be in there and leave. But of course, you're right. Somebody said didn't want to leave, wanted to stay there longer.
Yeah.
And
you're exactly right.
And we can stay there longer. The more that we do this type of process for ourselves, the more that we do the universal sphere for ourselves, we can be in that state and that space longer and longer, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and one of the things about it is when you know how to do it for yourself, you can bring yourself there. But what you also do what we really are doing is in training to this universal sphere vibration all the time, the more we do it.
Mm-hmm.
So when we talk about in training to things like cuckoo clocks all in the shop together, we're in training to the vibration of the universe, where, as Ishtara says, solution energies abound. So as we do this, we hold it more in our own space as a constant energy.
Yeah, exactly. And so in your energy field now, it'll be more expanded, more of that energy of the unified field or the solution energy. And the more that you do that, the more and more and more it stays, right? It's like it just stays. You're just in that space more.
Right.
Yeah. So, this was 5 minutes. Can you imagine what, more doing a whole day workshop, being in that energy will be like as well, right? And even, doing the 30-minute session with Paul, that's going to be amazing. I even forgot what the problem was that I was going to work on.
It's irrelevant, really, in the grand scheme of things. Your universal self, it's irrelevant.
Because I was going to work on something, but I totally forgot what it was when I was in there. It's like, what was it? Because it was just so nice. So, yeah, that was brilliant. Both, like, everything was such a wonderful gift to all of us. And again, like I said, take advantage of these 3 special offers because they are offered at a great discount, at a savings for you. So if you would like to empower yourself, do the workshop. If you would like to receive the channelings and get a taste of it a little bit longer with Paul and get a specific thing for yourself, do package A, right? And if you want all of it, get package C, and see what that's like for you. And if you can't do it in February, do it in March. If you can't do the live workshop in March, do it in May. It's all good, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, awesome. I guess our thoughts and problems are already resolved in the future.
Yeah.
That's it. You got it. It just takes a little longer in 3D.
Exactly. Yeah. Awesome. Was there anything else that you wanted to share with us really quickly, Paul and Holly?
I just wanted to thank everyone that's here with us today and anyone that listens to the replay. Thank you for our lives are so busy, and thank you for taking the time out to listen to this information and then make your own empowered decision. You let your heart, your soul guide you. Does this feel right for me? Great. If it doesn't, great as well. Because then it lets your soul guide you on your journey to the things that you're most aligned with. And so thank you for taking the time out to allow yourself to come to that decision.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah,
and
thank you. I was just going to add that, I hold the space for all of us listening here and in real time, so to speak, and then listening later on, but also all of us, for us to really get close to and trust that our greatness is there and we just are discovering it, and that the rightness of who we are is in our space already, and we don't have to prove it, and we're worthy of it, and we're worthy of all that we desire. And so I hold that space for all of us to discover it and live it while we're still here in the 3D.
Yes, let's embody that. Absolutely. So thank you. And thank you, everybody, for your questions and your comments and your feedback. Trust. Trust in you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And this was lovely, lovely, lovely. If you have more questions, feel free to reach out, but yeah, I'll take a look at those special offers, see which one resonates with you. And I look forward to seeing you on one of the practitioner calls.
Wonderful.
They're a little later for me, but I can be there. So thank you so much, everyone.
Yeah, they're really late for you.
All right, so until next time, may you continue to be blessed with an abundance of joy, peace, love, happiness, prosperity, and radiant health. Sending you all much love and blessings always. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye for now.
Bye-bye. Thank you so much, Alara.
Thank you.
Thank you.